to keep that in mind. I was a complete fucking idiot. Season 3 came out, and the first thing that I had wanted to do is I wanted to kill Doomroller. I didn't even know how to say his name, or Doomwalker, whatever the fuck it was. And I couldn't even spell. Back then, I couldn't spell shit. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew if I got a big enough raid together, we could maybe kill the fucking boss. And you know what? By the way, who's a tank? This was my planning for the raid back in 2007. Keel's on the tank. By the way, who's a tank? So I thought we were going to pretty much do everything right. And if you see that bag over my head, I know there may be some new players in there, but the real ones recognize it. The real ones recognize it. I was going to steal all the loot. But unfortunately, sometimes you get it, and sometimes you get got. Even with our 80-man raid, Doomwalker proved to be too powerful of an adversary. And so I had to go back to playing by myself again. Now at this point, I had very few friends in the game. I was being alienated by more people. More of my friends had been leaving the guild. But there were still a few that remained. One of my friends, let me make sure that I've got it open there. One of my friends right there, I just randomly saw him. I remember this was like a really funny screenshot. He was just randomly
what's wrong with him?
In the deep run tram as I went to take the tram. And he says, "Hey man, look behind you." And I remembered I still did have friends. It made me feel good to know that. It definitely did. I was a lone ranger, a lone warrior, and the truth is sometimes
this shit's pretty entertaining.
I farmed out my own stuff. I got my own nether drake. And at this point, I was basically all about myself. I was all about doing what I needed to do for me all
He's
the
going
time.
like an in-depth story about his fucking World of Warcraft
screenshots of that as well.
lore.
Right here, so you guys can see, this is whenever I got exalted with Netherwing. And I was still
I don't even know how big he is on World of Warcraft now, but I'm
like
assuming he's pretty
days,
big
man.
because
you are now
he's
exalted
talking like
with
he used to
Netherwing.
be
And then of course,
fucking begging to fucking get in
It
guilds.
goes
And
without saying,
he couldn't fucking play with anyone,
but
blah
I
blah.
went over and I got my mount. And I want
Sounds
you
like
guys
it's
to just
leading up
take
to
a
him
look at
being
what
like
this screenshot is. That's
one of the
my
top
mom
players
on
in the
her
world.
Nether Drake. My mom got her Nether Drake before I did. I don't know if I can ever forgive myself for that. I actually forgot that even happened until I just looked at it right then. My mom was a gamer. She had more slash played than I did, and it wasn't even close. But as time went on, as days went on, I started to realize that unfortunately, I was alone. I didn't have anybody else to play with. I didn't have anybody else to do anything with. And my only joy and happiness in the game was making other people mad in random battlegrounds by putting marks on their head. Take it off, man. It's hard to see with a big thing in front of you. Get this shit off, fucker. I'm not leaving till it's off. And I would just sit around and put random marks on people's heads and just do whatever I could to make them angry. This is all I would do. And eventually, I applied to every guild that I could on the server. And much to my surprise and no one else's, I was declined. Until finally I found a guild that was desperate enough to bring me into their ranks. That's whenever I joined Haven.
It's actually kind of cool, even though I don't fuck with
Haven was
WoW.
going
There's
to
a
be my
magical
new
clan I
home.
didn't even remember it has the same name, and
I had
they're all
upgraded from my tier 4
the
guild
T4
to a
Ninja
tier
class.
5
They're
guild.
really help 100 people.
I
It
went
says,
from farming
I'm
tier
super
4
interested
to farming tier 5 and Zul'Aman.
in this game, but I think
was now
it's
playing
been
with
out
much
for
better
so long
players.
that
I was happy.
like
I was
starting that
enjoying
grind
myself
now
more.
doesn't seem
And also, I was doing raids that gave me better
like it's
gear,
realistic.
most importantly. Now, there are some other things that I do have to say.
Like I would love to play that game,
Obviously,
but
this guild had its
these
problems
people are
as
probably
well.
so far ahead,
It had a
like
lot of
years ahead.
problems.
Like
My
it would
previous guild,
probably
Silent
take me like
Asylum, I was
5
17
years
old at this time. 17
to
years
even
old. My previous guild, Silent Asylum, at this point was floundering around just like they had always done. Still wiping in Karazhan because they wanted to gear their 4th officer alts instead of
the way he's talking about how much he grinded and is still struggling makes me not want to even try.
Decided shame had befallen them so often and so many times that it was time for them to leave. Silent Asylum left the guild. They left the server entirely as a guild. And of course, I took great delight in watching them transfer servers and barely edge out a kill on Void Reaver. And I think they killed one boss in Serpent Shrine Caverns. And later on, the guild died. I was so happy, because it made me feel like I was right. I knew the guild sucked. I hated that fucking guild. I hated the people in the guild. I hated everything about it. There were a handful of people that I had liked, and they had all quit the guild. They were done. I was off to new, bigger, and better things. I was raiding in this new guild, and I also want to say right now, wait, do we have one with the damage meter on? Where's the picture with the damage? Oh yeah, this new guild, I forgot to even say. So this new guild, they gave me, how long do I get member, do you know? Now, do you want to know why I wanted to get member in this guild? Does anybody have an idea on why I would want to get member in a guild? I mean, it probably had nothing to do with loot, right? I mean, there's no way it had anything to do with loot. Yeah, I mean, definitely not. No, of course not. But they did invest in me, and they gave me the red belt of battle that I would use for the rest of the entire expansion. This guild appreciated me. I forgot to tell another story. I apologize. Rewind back a couple of months before. Zach and I were playing together, and at this time, he and I were leveling up alts together right there. That was my paladin and his mage on the coast of Westfall, or
What I can't believe he has all of these screenshots for the entire story though. Like, these are a lot of screenshots, and they're actual screenshots of what he's talking about. These aren't just like pictures from Google. He has all of these screenshots still.
So,
and why he took all these screenshots, I don't know.
Zach was also in a guild that, let's just say, he didn't get along with very well. Let's just say that he didn't like them all too much. And you know what Zach did? Zach did the only thing that a reasonable, good person would do. Zach went over and he ninja'd the entire guild bank. And he quit the fucking guild. Zach calls me on the phone. He says, Zach. I'm like, yeah, what up, Zach? He's like, dude, I got the whole thing. I said, what do you mean, dude? He's like, dude, I got it all. I'm like, what do you mean, dude? He's like, dude, I got the whole bank. I said, Zach, you stole the bank? He's like, yeah, I did, Zach. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, that's fucking right, dude. I said, come on down here right now, dude. Zach comes down to the house. He logs onto his account, and we take these screenshots on his account where Zach stole every fucking item out of this dog shit ass guild that fucked him around, didn't give him loot in Karazhan, and Zach immediately goes. He steals everything out of the bank, and the first thing that he does is he turns around and tries to sell the shit in trade chat. That's the first thing. What else was he gonna do? What else was he gonna do? Nothing. He's selling it in trade chat. Everybody's pissed off about it. Bodum Child just ninja'd all the shit out of our guild bank. Report him. And then as Zach was walking down, I knew this guy, Arwen. Arwen starts messaging me and he says, bro. I said, what up, man? How you doing? He says, not good. I say, shit. What happened? He says, you wouldn't believe it, man. I said, yeah, I would. I really would believe it. He says, our guild bank got ninja'd, man. Our Our guild bank got ninja. I said, what the fuck? Who would do such a thing? He says, man, it's one of these hunters, dude. I said, I knew it was a hunter, man. Before you even told me, I knew it was a hunter. They can't control themselves. So you know what Zach did? He told me what his name was. He said his name was Bodum Child. I said, Bodum Child, I know who that is. He's like, you do? I'm like, yeah. That guy's a dickhead. Zach comes over to the house. I'm like, what up, bro? How you doing, man? You want a Dr. Pepper? He's like, yeah. And so then we get a drink, and we're reading these fucking messages that the guy is sending me while Zach is sitting behind me laughing his ass off. He laughing his fucking ass off. And then Cody's over there at the same time. Everybody's in trade chat, freaking out about it. Zach asks in chat, he's like, can I get reported from that? We didn't even really fucking know. They said they gave you access. True. That's ownage. That's funny. Nice job. Did the same thing to someone on another realm. Ha ha ha. Good shit, man. Good shit. This is before the age of Twitlongers and Twitter and canceling, okay? Whenever you stole from Guild Bank from back in the day, you got props. People were happy to see it. They were loving to see it. And especially whenever it's a guild that thinks that they're a little bit better than what they really are. And we knew one of these people. This guy, Craftine, was a warrior. He says, nice, what did you get? He was a friend of mine, of course. There's always someone who will ruin a good thing. And that someone was us. Cold Slurpee was Cody's character name. Because
that's
we had just been to 7-Eleven.
That's fucked up.
And Cody didn't know what to name his character. So he looked over. And his eyes like and he named it. He named his character Cold Slurpee. And he raided with this character for years. He even played back in Nightold. So everybody was angry. Give that shit back. You didn't work for any of that. What's the point in ruining the game for anyone else? /LOL. What did people expect? People are scum. Reported. And then other people were saying bad stuff, and I told Zach to report the people that were saying that they were going to report him. And so I said to Zach, I said, you know what, let's wrap this up. Let's finish this off. I told Zach, I'm like, Zach, ask for an invite back to the guild that you just ninjaed all this stuff out of. He says, why? I said, to get the rest of it. To get the rest of it, man. There was still a little bit left in there. So Zach messages. He messages old Arlen there. He says, wait, is there any engineering stuff in the bank? Because I need to get that skill up, and I might have forgotten it. Can I get back into the guild? It was brutal. He made over 1,000 gold that day. Now, obviously, Zach didn't have enough to get his epic flying. And you know what, guys? Neither did I. Neither did I. But you know who did have enough? My mom. My mom helped me pay for the rest of my epic flying mount that I paid her back for, by the way. But it took me quite a while. And my mom, on that night, around that time, helped me pay for my epic flying mount for the first time. And I was able to afford it. I was so happy. And I was also happy about how much health I had because I was the tank in Karazhan at that time. This is whenever I was not in a guild. And I was able to afford my artisan riding and ride around for the first time on my Nether Drake. That's why I had so many screenshots of it. Because it wasn't just the Nether Drake. It wasn't just my first Nether Drake. It was my first flying epic mount of my entire time playing the game. Zach and I weren't very good at making money, but my mom was. She was incredible at making money. If you were to equate the amount of gold that she had back in Burning Crusade to gold's value now, it would be somewhere around 30 million gold. My mom had 30 million gold back in the day, the equivalent of that. She could buy people's epic flying mounts without even worrying about it. And you know what? On a fateful night, at the end of summer, my mother knew that Zach was trying to farm for his epic flying mount, and there were no more guilds that would invite him for him to steal their guild bank. Zach was at a standstill. He couldn't afford it at all. And my mom asked Zach that day. She said, "Zach, when's your birthday?" Zach's like, "It's in a few months." She says, "Well, I guess you won't be here whenever it's your birthday, right?" He says, "No, I won't be here." She says, "That's okay. I can give you your present now." She asked Zach to log on to WoW, and she asked him to go over to Shadowmoon Valley. And on that fateful day, over 10 years ago, my mother paid for Zach's epic flying mount for his birthday. Grats. It was no big deal for her. She just paid for it. It was not, no, it didn't matter, dude. It is what it is. So time went on. Zach and I kept playing together, of course. And of course, I was also, I just want to let you guys know, I'm pretty good at the game, and I take screenshots like this. I just go in and do top damage in a BG. Sometimes I'm bored, right? Just figured, might as well just get top damage real quick. And yeah, it was easy. It was great. I can't wait to do it again. It was good. I got better stuff. There were a number of little small stories like that. There's also the story of Jeff stealing someone's account, and then me taking the account away from Jeff, and then having the people that originally owned the account give me gold to give the account back to them, and then me cheating Jeff out of the account that he stole. Now, I had gotten better at this point. I had started making macros. I had started keybinding my abilities. I was starting to become a better player. This was the time that I had moved into my own. I was nearing the end of my high school career. It was unfortunately only 4 years. Many people in my school, it took them a little bit longer than that. I had become much better at the game than I originally was, and I'm not even kidding. I got a lot better at the game. And back then, whenever I was raiding with that guild, Haven, I was one of the top DPS in the entire guild. Back in Tier 5 as an arms warrior. I was one of the best players in the guild. Probably the best player in the guild. But the truth is that Tier 5 is not Tier 6. Now, I showed up, I did what I needed to do, and I felt a certain obligation to them because they had helped me. I was second on the DPS meter. Not even a big deal. I worked my fucking ass off in this guild. I died. But think about why I died. It's because I pulled so much aggro. I was popping off. I was doing what I needed to do. And I had been raiding with this guild for quite a while. We did all the Serpent Shrine Cavern bosses. I was always on the damage meter, even though I should have been at the bottom of it. And even though I was in this guild, I still felt like I was basically alone. I had no real friends in this guild. I didn't like anyone in the guild. I didn't give a fuck about them. I was there for the loot, and then I would leave. I was a lone warrior, taking solace only in the times that I would make people mad. After time went on, and on, and on, I finally stopped raiding with this guild. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to be in this shit guild anymore. And I just stopped showing up to raids. I said to them, I said, you know what? I've got to focus on PvP. I've got to get better gear. I don't want to come to the raids anymore. The truth is that I learned that I was on last priority for a number of the pieces of gear that I had wanted from the raid, and it was just no longer worth my time. I was removed from the guild. Guildless once again. They were not happy with me. And to be honest, I didn't blame them. A couple of weeks later, I was guildless, and I was doing arena with that original team that I was playing with from the people in that guild overdose. And the guild master at that time noticed that I had been kicked out of my guild. And he said, Asmon, what happened to your guild? I said, they were a bunch of fucking pussies. I didn't want to play with them anymore. They sucked. And I stopped raiding with them. They kicked me out. He said, aw, man, that sucks. I was like, yeah, it does. He says, type something in chat. I say, okay. The reason why he wanted me to type something in chat. The reason why he had wanted me to type something in chat is so he could shift-click my name to invite me into the guild. And the guild that I had wanted to be a part of ever since the time that I was back in Vanilla WoW, I had gotten invited to. I had wanted to be in this guild ever since I was level 50. I saw these guys around in the city, and they had absolutely the best gear, and nobody else was even remotely close. Yeah, we had a very special guild back in the day. I had joined the guild at this time. I had worked very hard for this, and I had been so excited, and I was so happy. This guy right here, Teflon Don, was one of the best rogues I've ever played with. This guy was such an OG. He got Grand Marshal in Vanilla WoW, and that wasn't enough for him. He went back, and he got Field Marshal on his second character. These guys were gods. This was the Neckbeard Guild. This was the guild full of assholes. And that's where I wanted to be. And you know why? It's because those assholes, despite all the negative things about them, they were good at the game. And they gave me the opportunity to get to 1850 in Season 3 and be able to afford my Season 3 weapon. This is something I had wanted for years. The moment that I had wanted one of those best weapons in the game for so long. The day that I saw that sword, I was so excited and so happy to get it. And the next week or the week after that I finally got the opportunity, I went to the vendor and I bought my Vengeful Gladiator's great sword. And for once, I had one of the best weapons in the game. I started to make friends in this guild because I had wanted to make friends in this guild, and I had started to play with them, and they started to enjoy my company even. They were a lot better than I was. I did Karazhan with this guild, and I remember a very fateful conversation that we had. I asked them, how can we do Curator if we don't have 2 Warlocks to put Curse of Doom on the boss and have it expire whenever Curator is in the damage phase? I genuinely was in such bad guilds that I thought it was necessary for us to have a Warlock on Curator to even be able to beat the damage check. They didn't even know what I was talking about. We cleared the raid. It was easy. It was no trouble whatsoever. We did great. They even took me into Serpent Shrine Caverns. And they brought me in enough times to where I was also able to afford my Storm Herald. I had worked for this for a long time. I was so happy to have this. Every time that I got randomly stunned in Arena, that happened. The Isle of Quel'Danas released. I had my Storm Herald, and I was ready to do whatever I needed to do. Everybody was there. Everybody was excited. It was a beautiful day on Thrall. And I went into Magister's Terrace. Now this girl, Aileen. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. This girl. If you think the girls are you know, promiscuous now. No. Oh no. There was a time that Aileen was doing a Shattered Halls with 4 of the other members in the guild. They got to talking to each other. And they found out that she was sexting all 4 of them at the same time. Like an old god extending its tendrils around its victims. This girl was insane. One time she said to me that she wishes her tongue was really, really long so she could wrap it around my dick like a snake. I'll admit that I fell under her spell for a period of time. We played together a lot. We did other stuff together like that a lot. You never forgot that? I mean, bro, would you? I mean, would you, bro? I mean, come on. Oh, do I even tell this one? I'm deciding if I should even tell this one. This one's bad. This one's bad. She did the peanut butter and dog thing. My other friend told me that she told him that. Like, this girl was nuts. She was fucking nuts. She had this other dude send her, he sent her a picture of his dick, and he wrote her name on the side of his dick in magic marker. She was insane. Eventually, she quit the game. I'm deciding how much I want to tell of this story, okay? I'm sorry. I did not actually... I forgot that I had that screenshot in there, and I said, fuck it, we'll tell this part of the story, but I don't even know if I should tell the whole thing. Let me think. Okay, so... She originally posted pictures of herself on the guild website, and she was a cute blonde girl, right? And at that time... every guy in the guild was talking to her, and she was talking to every guy in the guild, and probably other guys that probably weren't even in the guild. Now, this may come as a surprise to you all, but she could... she couldn't use a mic. And she also, we found out that it was not, it was fake pictures. Here's the twist. She finally got a mic. And it was a real girl. But the pictures that she had used was not of her. And a friend of mine, Rob, another person ensnared by the tentacles of this old god, got a mail from her in-game where she told Rob what her actual Facebook was. And you'll hear a lot about Rob if I ever do a story about Wrath of the Lich King. There's a lot about Rob. There's going to be a little bit about him in this story, but he and I really started working together. And you'll see what I mean whenever I tell the story in Wrath of the Lich King. So, she sent Rob in-game mail and she gave him his her real Facebook. And Rob sent me a few pictures of what she looked like, and she was hot. Like, she didn't even need to use fake pictures. She was hot. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Why would she do this? Like, it's like, let's say the girl that she posted was like a 7. She's like a 6.5. Right? And like, yeah, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I think because she had braces or something like that, right? I don't remember exactly. It's a very, very long time ago. And she said she's leaving the server. And Rob asked her, why are you leaving the server? She said this: I will never be on another server that Asmongold is on again. I will never be on another server as Asmongold. And you know what? I don't blame her. What'd you do? A ton of stuff. Anyway. Things went on, and I got better gear over time. And I was very happy to have done that. I was playing in the guild, and I was still joining and hanging out with everybody and getting to know everyone. You're nuts? No, I told people about the dog incident, and I embarrassed her in like another way too, and everybody started making fun of her for it. And it's like, cause like she didn't want to, like, I forgot like why I did this. Like, I think that I stopped talking to her. She stopped talking to me. She like ignored me, and then so I told her, but I'm like, yeah, fuck it, who cares, right? And that's what it was. No, she deserved it. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. So anyway, the Isle of Quel'Danas release. The Isle of Quel'Danas releases. And this is the first time that I'm actually in there. I'm going into the new guild. And I'm part of it all by myself. And I had actually moved into... You guys have to understand what a come-up this is. I was originally in, at the beginning of this expansion, the worst guild on the server. And I had just been invited into the best guild on the server. My ego was on the moon. You guys have no idea. I was the most insufferable, obnoxious piece of shit that you could ever imagine. And if you think for even a second that the way I act on stream is even remotely close to how bad that I was back then, you didn't know me. It was insane. It was fucking insane. I was the worst person that you could ever imagine. I was playing with my friends, and I was happy about that. Here's a friend right here. ST Pally, Hand of a Doll. I made a lot of good friends in Overdose. Some of them I'm still friends with. ST Pally, he and I played Classic together yesterday. Now, obviously, guys, I still had to work my ass off. I still had to play and do what I needed to do. Because if you look at my character, I want to ask you a question, a very simple question that I think all of you absolutely know the answer to. What's missing? What's missing on my character? My shoulders. This right here was my game. My last game. With Winry, he was one of the druids in my guild. This was my last game. They got me to 2K rating. Digital Gangstas. I know this might sound as a surprise to you guys, but I thought of that name. I got 2K rating. We popped the fuck off. And I bought my fucking shoulders. And after the longest time, for the first time ever in my experience playing this game, I was best in slot. I had every best in slot item in the game. I had full Vengeful Gladiator gear. I was the big dick of the server. There was only 2 or 3 or 4 different people that had these shoulders, and I was one of them. I felt like a god. I still wear this transmog set sometimes because of how happy I was to have it. Multiple screenshots as well, of course. Obviously, I would take every opportunity possible to take screenshots of my character in my full Vengeful Gladiator gear. It was amazing. I was happier than ever. I had finally gotten the opportunity to do this. Like, honestly, it was so amazing for me because I had never really... Like, it was just so big. I can't even... I can't even express to you guys how big of a deal this was for me to go from this guild that I would take literal screenshots next to the members in their guild to actually being in the guild myself and being friends with people in the fucking guild. Like, this was such a big fucking deal for me. It was awesome. I was so happy, man. I was so fucking happy. You guys have no idea. Now, obviously, we were a great guild. But every guild does make mistakes. Every guild has setbacks and problems. And every guild, even in tier 6 gear, somehow wipes on Karazhan trash. We screenshotted this because I couldn't even believe that it happened. I still can't even believe that it happened. We also did other stuff as well. I want to say also we were doing the... doing raids in Orgrimmar, having fun with each other, just playing the game, enjoying ourselves, and doing what we needed to do. It was fucking amazing. I was super happy about it. Unfortunately, however, the person who had originally got me into the game, Sesh, opened trade with me one evening, and he gave me a bunch of stuff randomly. He was quitting the game. I was sad to hear this. This is one of the more unpleasant times. It's not happy at all about it. And it sucked. It really did. I didn't really know what to do about it or what to say about it or anything. You can't really convince somebody like that they're gonna do anything or anything like that. But I was sad to see him go. I'll say that for sure. I definitely was sad to see him go. So anyway, we'll fast forward a little bit more. Obviously, I kept raiding and playing with them. I got a few other better pieces of gear. And I'll be honest, I think I looked like a big dick badass right there. And I don't even think it was close. I looked like a fucking god. I love the way I looked. I still use that belt that I got from that old guild. I had my gloves from Gruul, the gauntlets of martial perfection. I was using fist weapons because I thought they looked badass. It was great. And I was raiding with one of the best guilds. Actually, really, the best guild on the server at that time. And you can go fuck yourself. There were a lot of times that I would say things to people and do things that would make people mad. And then those people would get angry at me, and they would message me things like that, and I would screenshot them because I thought it was funny. I was a cocksucker. But I was a good-looking cocksucker, I'll tell you that. I was one of the best-looking cocksuckers out there. And I loved it. Look at that gear. Look at that armor. Look at those enchants. And you know what? Patch came out. I kept playing with the guys. Endeavor, Echo. These are all people that I had played with for years. I don't remember anything about Chaos Master except that I didn't like him. Ecthelion. He was one of the best warriors on the server, and I would always ask him for advice. Echo, he and I were the two top warriors on the server for PvP, and we would always kind of, there was a little bit of a rivalry between us, but we were always good friends. And Endeavor was a paladin, and he was just very good at the game. I never really was good friends with him, but he and I were in the same guild. And obviously, you know, some people, they might not really think that I was as good as I say I was. And so I want to go ahead and I want to show a little clip here I'm going to show a little clip here of back in the day. Back in the old days. Back in the Burning Crusade. A young Asmongold was berserking. Show you guys what it used to be like. How good I used to be. Yeah, I had 5 FPS. Yeah, I recorded everything back in the day, man. I had full best in slot. People had to know about that. Look at that. 2 fucking people on me. Fucking deleted. Absolutely fucking deleted. Destroyed. A druid, 2009 crit. 3000, you're fucking dead. Yeah. Yep. I can't wait, dude. It's gonna be so good. TBC's gonna be so good, guys. Yep. Back in the day, I used to be good at the game. What can I say? It was a great time. And it was a long time ago. That's why I got invited to the best guild on the server. As you can see. I had a lot of good times back then. And carried by healer. Hey, there was 5 of them. They should have killed the healer. That's their fault. So anyway. There was another time that I would duel with people. Now, if any of you guys played Burning Crusade, you'd remember this. You were able to duel inside of Ironforge. If you dueled underneath, there was a certain building. And I would always require anybody who wanted to duel me over the fire pit. Because if you dueled me over the fire pit, the winner died. This right here is Bozy. I'll go ahead and I'll tell you a story about Bozy. Bozy used to play a character named Darkwinds. He was a horde shaman. And my guild killed him so many times. Bozy re-rolled and made a character on Alliance and joined Overdose. That's the way it goes. The winner died, Asmongold is defeated. That's right. Now also, as you guys see, there are 2 other names in here. Namani, she was a friend of mine that I had known for, at this time she was in the guild. She was like, I mean, shout out to Namani, she was like 15 or 16, raiding in Black Temple, popping off. She was one of the best priests on the server. And Dakina, you guys asked about Palladini. Palladini was Dakina. I still keep in touch with all 3 of them. Bozy's doing great. He's got a kid. Dakina's doing great. He has to deal with Olympus, so that's 40 kids. Namani's doing pretty well, too. It was a good time. We just get in vent together and have fun and talk and just play with each other and just enjoy our time that we had. It was beautiful. And then as time went on, time progressed. And you know what? So did I. I was getting better gear. Season 4 had released. Obviously. I mean, obviously I was getting all of the best gear. Brutal Gladiator. It was beautiful to see that. And you know what we did in order to get our gear? We had fun. We took the flag. We got so bored of farming honor, we would just take the flag and go to some random area and sit down and have a little feast here, have a little picnic, just have a little bit of fun. And there's me and Palladini, me and Dakina, sitting there. Obviously, there's me with the flag on, and I'm just fucking around, pissing everybody else off in the group, and I didn't give a fuck because I was doing what I wanted to do. And that was just good enough for me. Obviously, I made other friends in the guild as well. I was friends with almost everybody in the guild. This is me right there whenever we were doing just random PvP, probably buying stuff. This guy in Nechka, he spent half the time healing and the other half getting high. That was pretty much it. And I was a fucking idiot as well. And we were playing together at this point all the time. I would join. I remember this is a very, very clear memory in my mind. I remember I woke up on Saturday morning, and I was going to my computer, and I'd leave myself in voice chat because I just never turn off my computer, same as now, right? And I would leave myself in voice chat, and I would hear my friends and my guildmates talking before I even put on my headphones to start the day, and I was so happy because I knew I'd be able to hang out with my friends in my guild and play WoW with them, and it was going to be fucking amazing. But not everything was amazing. The fact is that the former glory of Overdose was waning. The guild was getting worse, and no, it was not because I joined. At this time, the guild had raided all the way from, I think they came from another game. Like, Overdose players came from another game. It was like EverQuest or something like that. So many of them at this point were about 25, 26. They were older. And their lives were taking priority over the game, much to their disappointment. We had a lot of people leaving the guild. Some people stayed, many of the people stayed, but many of the other ones had to leave. And Overdose was losing its #1 spot. There was a night that the other guild, the guild's name was Illusion, killed Brutalis in Sunwell before we did. This was a guild that we had previously been so far ahead of. They were in tier 5 whenever we were in tier 6. This was a wake-up call for a lot of us. Everybody was lazy. They were getting fat. They were just so used to being on top, they didn't know what it meant to earn the spot. But unfortunately, they didn't have enough people to go in and do Brutalis all by themselves. Many of the raiders had quit. One of the raiders actually was an arms warrior who took Cataclysm's Edge and left the guild. And they didn't have any other arms warriors left in the entire guild. And they needed an arms warrior to defeat Brutalis pre-nerf because of the debuff. But they did have an arms warrior.
Is that an issue?
They had me.
I slept in my sweatpants. You fucking wearing the same dress you wore yesterday.
They invited me to Sunwell on a last-ditch effort.
You got a bun in. Who the fuck are you talking to?
To go in there and try to actually defeat Brutalis and reclaim our former glory that we once had.
Where are you going?
That we had lost. It was embarrassing. It was sad.
Why?
And I didn't really know what to do about it. This was one of the most exciting periods in time. And I didn't know exactly how hard the boss was going to be. I had watched 8 different videos about it. I had been completely ready and prepared for it. But the truth is that I didn't really know what it was like. This was my first time ever raiding.
So I don't waste an outfit.
And as always, some things never change. Begging Palladini for consumables because I forgot to bring them to the raid.
Anyway, how the fuck are you gonna criticize me when you're wearing what you wore yesterday?
Well, you know what?
Just
we were down,
a dress.
But we weren't out.
It is dressy.
After a few hours of attempts, we came together, and for the first time, I really meant we. We came together, and I, with the rest of the guild, defeated Brutalis pre-nerf.
I'm driving myself around.
Pre-fucking nerf Brutalis was the first serious guild raid that I did with these guys. I was so fucking happy about it. It was amazing. It was incredible. And I would always, always, always fucking remember this. And then they decided to stop raiding. Stop raiding Sunwell. They were happy with how they had done in Sunwell. Not forever, just for the week. And they wanted to do Black Temple. And oh, look who's in the raid. And they asked me. I asked, actually, I think I asked if I could come with them to Black Temple. And you know what they told me? Well, it was obvious. Every guild needs an arms warrior. I remember the moment that I went into Black Temple. I had all of my friends that I had known for the entire expansion and even in vanilla WoW. They were messaging me. They said, bro, Black Temple? I said, yep. And they were like, are you kidding me? You're in Black Temple? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm in Black Temple, man. And they were so happy for me, man. It was like I just made it out the fucking projects into like a fucking $100,000 a year job, man. Everybody was happy for me. They were patting me on the back. I was feeling like a god. And I had made it. We went in and we defeated the other bosses as well. They invited me and they brought me along. I got a few pieces of gear myself. And on top of that, I did miss out on the only boss that I really wanted to kill was Reliquary of Souls. I remember my mom made me eat dinner with her in between the boss, so I had to go AFK. And I had made it. I was happy. And I decided to take a step back and decide what I wanted to do with my time. One thing that I decided to do. Oh, and by the way, for anybody who doesn't believe any of this, that's a friend of mine right there from Overdose. It's all real. It's all real. I told them that story. I did, with the magic marker in you. I did. So anyway, I leveled up my paladin. Whenever I saw how badass prop paladin was, I felt like I had to do it. I needed to do it. He says he has a screen. Well, I told you guys. I fucking told you guys that this is what she would do. This is exactly what she would fucking do, man. She's nuts. Nuts, man. Okay. So anyway, we were in, what was this here? I was leveling up my paladin, just having fun, playing with the boys, and I was going back and doing old content. And we had another guy in the guild, and that guy's name